A few people know what a fly rod is, fewer know how to use them well, and I'm one of the luckiest people because I designed them for a career. My name is Steve Rajeff with G Loomis. Today we're going to show you step by step how they're made. Walking into the general production area, we arrive in the pattern cutting area. On these tables, we will lay out these different grades of graphite. There is a design that these operators follow using either a steel template or a straight edge, and we use a sharp knife to cut out the graphite pattern. Moving on to the tack station, we use a hot iron to adhere the graphite pattern to the steel tapered mandrel. Once the graphite has been adhered to the mandrel, it's ready for the rolling table. At this station, the graphite is rolled under high pressure. To ensure further compaction of the graphite onto the mandrel, here at the cellophane station, we apply a thin film of plastic down the length of the shaft. After the cellophane has been applied, it's now ready to go into the hot air oven. It's hung upon a cart and rolled into the hot air oven where it receives the heat cycle necessary to cure the epoxy resin. Once the graphite shaft has been cured, we move on to the pulling station. The pulling station is where we remove the steel mandrel from the graphite shaft. To remove the cellophane plastic exterior, trained operators use a sharp knife and strike the edge of the blank to peel away the plastic film. Next is the sanding process. Here we remove the ridge marks, which is the excess epoxy resin that has bled to the surface underneath of the cellophane. After the blank has been sanded, it's now ready for the painting process. In this case, we have a liquid bath of paint, and the blank is merely dipped into the tube, and as it's drawn up, all the liquidy paint drops right back into the tube, allowed to hang for a moment or two, and then clipped to a conveyor belt. The conveyor then transfers it down a series of heat lamps to bake the finish right to the blank. After the blank has been painted, we're now ready to move on to the ferreling station. This station has a high-speed diamond edge blade that trims the tip of the rod just to allow the tip top to be applied, and also the bottom end of the rod to cleanly cut it off at the prescribed length. Once the rod has been assembled in a multiple piece or even a single piece rod, we're now ready to move on to the handle station, where we'll put on the cork grips along with the reel seat, a foregrip, and a winding check. After the handle has been applied to the blank, we're now ready to move on to the logo station. This is a silk screening process that applies the logo, the rod model number, and its lure and line rating. This will help you to know which rod you have and what it's appropriate for. Following the logo is the tip-top station. This is a real precise alignment process to make sure the tip-top, the end guide, is in perfect alignment with the reel seat. That's the starting point to help us to align all the rest of the guides to follow. Here at the wrapping station, we apply thread to hold the guides to the rod. This is a spiraling on of thread that traps the foot down, and we finish it with a little loop and a little tug, and thread is applied to the guide. After the guides have been wrapped onto the rod, it's ready for final check before the finish station. Here we make sure the guides are all in perfect alignment. Here at the finish station, we apply an epoxy finish to the threads for sealing the threads to the blank and a final holding of the guides to the rod. After the rod has been completely finished, it's inspected and placed into the appropriate bags ready for shipping. After shipping, these rods will go to top-notch fishermen all around the world looking to catch the big one.